Hello, happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is so very good to be here with you on this Sunday morning as we gather together to celebrate the magnificence and significance of the presence and power of God operating in, through, and as we gather together in consciousness on this beautiful Mother's Day. And I am grateful to be here with each and every one of you on this day and on Mother's Day. And so I want to share a reading here from the Daily Word, and we will take that reading into our prayer. The word, of course, today is blessing for mothers. And the affirmation, I bless and give thanks for the mothers in my life. Today, I celebrate and honor the world's mothers. First, of course, is the mother who nurtured and guided me to be the person I am through her love and example. I also bless those who have shown me a mother's love throughout my life. These special ones may be grandmothers, aunts, or family members. Perhaps a neighbor or a teacher took me under their wing, offering me support and encouragement. I have deep appreciation for them all. On Mother's Day, I bless the mothers and mother figures in my life with thoughts of gratitude and love. I hold these dear ones gentle in prayer, affirming that they know the tender, nurturing love of God as they have so selflessly shared it with me. Again, I bless and give thanks for the mothers, all mothers and mother figures in my life. And from this place of gratitude, I invite you right here and right now to close your eyes. As we close our eyes, we close our minds, we close our attention to the external, and we open ourselves up, just as the lotus flower opens itself up, to the inner awareness. We open ourselves up to the eternal. We open ourselves up to that which is always true, universally true, forever true. We open ourselves up to insight and inner standing. And so as we close our eyes to the external world, I invite you now to drop down deeper by taking an intentional breath in and an intentional breath out. The breath is the signal to the mind that all is well. The breath is the signal to the mind that your body can relax. We breathe in and we breathe out, sinking deeper and deeper into this awareness. We breathe in and we breathe out. And I invite everyone here and now to bring yourself here to the present moment by affirming aloud as one community, I am here now.
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 Yes, yes. The past is gone, the future is yet to come, and we are here now. So we forgive ourselves and set ourselves free of any and every thought, habit, belief, pattern that is unlike the truth of who and what we are. And we forgive our sister, our brother, our human family. We loose the world of all we thought they were, and we go free. Our minds hold only what we think with love. And it is this that I hold with love right here and right now, that there is only one mind, one power, one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all. There is one life, one spirit, one consciousness. That life, that spirit, that consciousness I call God. It is perfect, whole, and complete, and it is my life now. It is perfect, whole, and complete, and it is your life now. It is perfect, whole, and complete. It is all life now. It is our life now, as it is our life now. I affirm that I am one with consciousness. Consciousness is one with me. I am one with consciousness. Consciousness is me. I affirm you are one with consciousness. Consciousness is one with you. You are one with consciousness. Consciousness is you. I remember and know the truth of God right here and right now. The power and presence that I call God is not against me. It is with me. The power and presence that I call God is not against me, it is in me. The power and presence that I call God is not against me, it is operating in, through, and as me. I recognize that God, the good spirit, consciousness, it is the eternal omni. It is omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience. It is right here, right now. It neither comes nor goes. Omnipresence, constantly encountered everywhere, everything, and everyone, constantly encountered. Omnipresence, it is omnipotence. It is power itself, the power that empowers, the power that is back up behind every expression of power, the power that is powerful enough to usurp our thoughts and our beliefs that are unlike the truth of who and what we are, the power that is powerful enough to work with and work around and work within the context of our life to bring forth the good that is needed, that is desired, that is affirmed, that is declared, the power that turns thought to things, that transforms our minds and transforms our lives. It is omniscience, wisdom, and intelligence. As we look at the grand design of the universe, we see order.
Yes.
As we look at the grand design of our bodies, we see order.
Yes.
That is the wisdom and intelligence informed back and behind those realities. There is wisdom and intelligence. That is omniscience. And so as we recognize that that wisdom and intelligence is, as we recognize that that order is, we know that that wisdom and intelligence has the wisdom and intelligence to bring forth order, harmony, unity out of the appearing chaos of our minds and our lives. And so as I am clear about who and what God the good is, as I am clear and confident in the presence and power that is and what it is, where it is, that it is now, I am clear and confident about the reality of each and every one of us, for we live, move, and have our being in God, and God lives, moves, and has its expression in, through, and as us. We are one with God and one of God, individualized, particularized, unique, undivided expressions of this good. We are divine, we are holy, we are sacred, and there's nothing you can do about it. It is. So we accept it. We allow it. And as we accept it, as we allow it, as we open our hearts and our minds to fathom the reality of that truth, so much good begins to happen in, through, and as our lives. We are made new. We are made new and born again and again and again as we encounter this reality. So this is why we gather together here for the weekend service at Celebration Spiritual Center. So this is why we know that we will leave here differently than when we walked in. So this is why and how we know that we will leave here enlightened and enlivened, that we will leave here prospered and prospering, that we will leave here excited and confident. We will leave here knowing more and feeling more and leaning into more of who and whose we are so that we can express that here on planet Earth. Oh, I am so grateful and thankful for every soul that is gathered here now and will gather throughout this time of the stream or later at any point in time in the future. Grateful, grateful, grateful for each and every soul, for each and every one of us are moving through a beautiful process, a process of transformation, renewing our minds. And as we renew our minds, we change and transform our lives. I'm grateful for the transformation of your life. I am grateful and thankful for the transformation of your mind. I am grateful and thankful for the transformation of your bank accounts. I am grateful and thankful for the transformation of your health. I am grateful and thankful of the transformation of pain to peace. I am grateful and thankful for the transformation of from worry to worthy. I am grateful and thankful for the transformation. We are transformed beings. And we are happy to tell the story so that others may be transformed. So it is with joy and thanksgiving that I release this prayer. I release it back into the law, which is always in operation, responding and becoming according to the pattern of thought that we provide. This pattern is good. It is life-giving, life-supporting. It is constructive. It is beneficial. It is loving. So for all of these reasons and so much more, we know we will experience that very thing. So with confidence, with joy and thanksgiving, we lift up our voices and we say, amen,
Amen.
ashe,
Ashe.
and so it is.
So it is.
So it is, and so it must be. Well, hello again. Happy Sunday. I'm Pastor Greg.
I'm Pastor Yolanda.
We are grateful and thankful to be here with you. We are excited to be here for another service here at Celebration Spiritual Center, the weekend service live stream. And we hope that you're equally excited to be here. If you are a first-time guest, hello, welcome. We are so grateful that someone or something brought you to this stream today, and we're confident that something will be done, something will be said that will support you in thriving in your life and living an empowered life. Now, the information you see here on your screen, this is how you access your digital connection card. Just text the keyword welcome to that phone number, 347-472-1078. Just the keyword is all that's needed, and you'll receive an automated response with a link. Click that link, it takes you to the digital connection card. And there you'll see all we need is your name and your email address. We don't need a bunch of information. Submit that information. You'll receive a follow-up text that says you're all set. And indeed, at that point, you are. You'll be added to our mailing list. You'll receive the correspondence that we send out to the community. There's a weekly newsletter that comes out every Friday. And if you want to get in touch with us, you can respond to those emails or those messages, and we or someone will get back to you. And so we're happy to have you here. We're excited that you're here. Again, I believe that something will be said or done that will support you. And if you feel inclined, we encourage you. You can shout yourself out in the comments. Let us know where you're connecting in from. You may find that there is someone connected right in your city, state, country where you are. Shout out Chicago, Tennessee, Brooklyn, Barbados. Folks will continue to shout out their cities, states, and countries. We are a global community. And again, you may find that there's someone in the same area as you connected right here and right now. Now, what we love to say is that when you come to CSC the first time, of course, you're a guest. You're a first-time guest. When you come back, you're family. So we welcome you now to the CSC family, believing and knowing that you will return after the powerful experience of today. So from this place of awareness, this is a wonderful moment for us to move forward with our news and updates so that we can get into the meditation and the music and today's message. The vision of CSC, Celebration Spiritual Center, is a God experience that turns on the heart, mind, and soul of the world. A God experience is the realization of oneness that transcends material sense. The mission and purpose: to awaken the world to the presence of God within and all around us. Celebrate this truth as one family. Embody unconditional love. Equip humanity to live our greatest lives and serve all creation. We, of course, are celebrating Mother's Day, and we wish every mother figure a happy, happy, happy Mother's Day. We thank you, moms. Thank you for being all that you are. Thank you for all that you continue to be. PY and I often talk about our grandmothers and mother figures that have transitioned. And they are still so alive in our lives and in our minds. All that they are influences us and influences ways of being. I'm laughing because last night we were talking about deep freezers and how we learned the power of a deep freezer and because of our grandmothers. And so we are grateful and thankful for all of the moms, and we are holding space for those that that are remembering moms, grandmoms, loved ones, mother figures who are no longer with us here in the physical. And so we know that sometimes a day like today doesn't feel so celebratory. And so we are holding space for you and with you and acknowledging that that is also true today. Memorial Day weekend is coming up at the end of the month, and CSC will be closed on Memorial Day weekend. We will not be holding service or streaming live, and so we encourage you, of course, to do what feels good to you that holiday weekend. In the States, of course, this is sort of the unofficial beginning of summer, and lots of wonderful things are happening. So we trust that everyone, no matter where you are, will enjoy that weekend. Bring your doubts, leave with clarity. How do we do that? We do that by coming to the God Talk. The God Talk is your opportunity to ask questions. On God Talk Sunday, every third Sunday, we hold a space at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time following the weekend service where you can ask questions that will support you in learning how to use New Thought metaphysical principles in your life and how to address the real things that are happening in your life, or where you feel confused or where you feel doubtful. Or just need clarity. You may have heard something in a sermon, a message, a song, in the meditation, etc. We're here to support you because we recognize that it is necessary to have that type of support. It is necessary to be able to ask those questions, as we are in our series this month and talking about the move from the states of consciousness. And so, as you're moving from one state to another and in between the states, you're going to have experiences. And so, PY and I are very familiar with those experiences. And we are here to support you in any way we can. Now, you may not have a question. You may think, well, I don't really have questions. Okay, come to the God Talk, because I guarantee you, you will learn something, or something will be opened up in you. Your awareness will be expanded by joining into that space. I'm always transformed by being there. I always feel better as a result of being in the God Talk. And so I know that you will too. So put it on your calendar. If it's not already there, make a point to be at the God Talk next Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Zoom link and passcode is shared in our weekly newsletter, and also in the Church Center app. You'll see there's a button there that will click that button and the God Talk info will be there. How do you access the Church Center app? Oh, thank you for asking. You can scan the QR code you see here, or you can go to that URL, celebrationsc.churchcenter.com/setup. You can also download the app from the Google Play Store or the App Store. The Church Center app is a wonderful way to stay connected with your CSC community in between the live stream, outside of the live stream. We have a CSC live group where there's always good conversations and things being shared. It's also a place where you can give. You can also watch this live stream and access past streams and meditations and register for events. So it's a wonderful app. You really need to have it on your phone so that you can stay abreast and connected to all that's happening at CSC. Every fourth Sunday is Healing Sunday. Healing Sunday is our time to know and speak the truth of healing in our community. I'm excited because I've been hearing and receiving so many wonderful things from you all. Last month, the healing visualization, so many of you are using it and let me know that you're using it and having powerful results in using it. We also have received some other powerful healing reports that I'm looking forward to sharing this month. So we pray affirmatively. We pray and know healing of any kind for you and anyone in our community. We speak the names of those that are seeking healing, and we'll let you know how to do that we'll send out an email, as well as we'll let you know here in the stream. And anyone that's in need of healing, we speak that name and healing is happening. So you want to be here on the fourth Sunday. You want to invite someone to be here with us so that they can step into this stream of well-being here at CSC. Our study series of the month is Follow the Yellow Brick Road, which is a series that I taught in 2015, looking at the wonderful allegory of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz. While we know that, unfortunately, the author of the Wonderful Wizard of Oz was not a wonderful human, we also recognize that the allegory is ancient. The allegory predates him. And so the Dorothy, the Tin Man, the Scarecrow, the Lion, they are aspects within your very own consciousness. And that story is really all about the journey. As we're talking about the cross of consciousness this month, right? The journey from body to mind to heart to truth. And I break down a lot of those symbols. It's a wonderful series. And we don't just stick with the book. Of course, we deal with the movie, the Judy Garland movie. And of course, we deal with The Wiz as well and bring in so many of the different symbolisms and the ways in which it's expressed. One of my favorite series, and I think you all will enjoy it, particularly if it's your first time tapping into this series. And it aligns wonderfully with the series that we're in now. We announced last week that our summer masterclass, Truth Sunday Masterclass for this year, the book is Ask and It Is Given by Esther and Jerry Hicks, The Teachings of Abraham. So very excited to do this series. So very excited to walk you through. If you're not familiar with what the Truth Sunday Masterclass is for the summer, June through August, instead of our sort of regular service format with a sermon, what PY and I will be doing is teaching this book line by line. We're going to have the book up on the screen, and we're going to be breaking things down Sometimes you find there's things that we don't agree with. There's things that we will call out, particularly as Black New Thought teachers. We understand and see and know that there are incredible blind spots when it comes to the non-melanated teachers in New Thought. And we call those things out. We support you in understanding deeply the teachings. We take in questions so that you can further understand. It's wonderful, wonderful. It's priceless, and it is free. You just got to be here on the stream. So prepare by getting the book and making sure that you're here with us beginning June 7th, regular stream time every Sunday this summer. I already said, get the book. The other thing is that with this year's Truth Sunday Masterclass, we are excited to launch the Celebration Learning Academy. Learning is a spiritual practice. And so all of our past masterclasses will be moved to the Learning Academy. We're also going to be having other wonderful things related to this current masterclass that you'll be able to take in, additional study, additional classes and additional resources that we won't be able to cover or provide in the live stream. We're excited about where this is going. This is going to be the hub to continue to, house all of the powerful learning and teaching and courses that we've already brought here at CSC, and also for future trainings and wonderful things. So it's going to be good. It's going to be good. If you have a prayer request, send it in. Send it to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. We are always holding the community in our hearts, our minds, knowing the highest and best for you. And we recognize that you may have a specific prayer request. We recognize that you may want to submit someone else's name because they have a prayer request or have a need. Send it to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org, and we will know the truth. Now, every Wednesday, we gather together for prayer. The Momentum Prayer Call happens on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a wonderful way to start your day in consciousness, start your day. We share a reading, and then we pray. We pray for ourselves, of course, and know the truth for ourselves. We also know this truth for every soul that is connected to CSC around the globe. We know the truth for our nations and for our world. If for some reason you're unable to make that prayer call live, all good. Every prayer is recorded. So you can access that prayer anytime, 24/7, by using the playback number you see there on your screen. Enter the access code. You'll be instructed to press the pound sign and then wait. And the most recent prayer will play. I look forward to you all joining us this Wednesday at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And of course, we encourage you to let us know how prayer is working in your lives. Let us know how healing is working in your lives. And so you can always share your prosperity reports by emailing prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. You can also share your prosperity reports in the CSC Live group in the Church Center app. Multi-Manifestor Mastery is starting soon. Multi-Manifestor Mastery is a live weekly class that will be held via Zoom, and the next round begins on May 26th, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time, for 9 weeks. In this class, you will learn and practice the most powerful frameworks that I've used to help my clients manifest happiness, peace, radiant health, success, and money. We will choose a specific amount of money to manifest in 9 weeks or less and prove the principles that we study. As I've taught this in the past, we have manifested in one round over $1 million using the very same process that I'll be teaching beginning May 26th. But I want to share with you real results from real multi-manifestors, because of course you can hear me talk about all this good stuff that's happening, or hear me be excited about the class, but these are the real things that are happening, because this isn't theory. This isn't positive thinking. This is what happens when you understand the manifestation equation and apply it consistently. Of course, we have money wins. I received a $5,200 tax refund I absolutely did not expect. I paid $2,000 for a program, and the next day the money showed up. I got $2,000. I knew it was coming. Money I gave years ago came back, doubled. And then there's the unexpected money and financial relief. A $1,200 bill I thought I owed completely disappeared. Someone paid me back years later, and it covered my exact expense. The biggest breakthrough, though, isn't money. It's the version of you that no longer overthinks, no longer doubts, spirals, and pushes against life. Here's more client breakthroughs that I love. I've always been glass half empty. Now I'm not. I used to spiral. Now I trust it's not time yet. I caught myself trying to control the how and stopped. I can feel my identity shifting in real time. Your next 9 weeks can change everything. You don't need more effort. You need a new way of thinking, feeling, and expecting. That's what Multi-Manifestor Mastery gives you. There are 2 options to get started. There's the VIP tier, $597. There's the live access tier, $397. There are also payment plan options, $300, 2 payments of $300, or 2 payments of $200. So that means you can get started for just $200. And I have a limited time exclusive. For the first 20 registrations that register by the 16th, you will receive a free It's Still Possible journal, which is wonderful because, of course, you can use that journal for class, take all of your notes and do your journaling exercises, and everything will be connected, right, together. So reserve your seat today. You can go to celebrationsc.org/register, or you can scan the QR code. That'll take you to the page with more details about the class, and you can choose the tier that works best for you. I look forward to supporting so many of you in this journey, in this beautiful expression of Multi-Manifestor Mastery. And that concludes our news and updates for this Sunday, which means we now have the opportunity to go within as we are led in the meditation experience with PY.
Yes, it is time for the meditation experience, our weekly opportunity to come together as a community and remember the truth. We can read and study the truth, and we encourage that. But it is only through your direct experience of the God as you define it within yourself, for yourself, that you know the things you're reading and studying are true. So we take time every Sunday to do just that as a community, and it is always powerful because many times during the week we forget. And that's okay. Forgive yourself and set yourself free. We forget who we are or what we have alive within us. The Course in Miracles says something really powerful. It was one of those things that accosted me. It says, my sinlessness is guaranteed by God. And what does that mean? It means that my worth and my value is not determined by what's out there, that nothing I've said or done or thought changes who and what I am in any way. And many times when you look out there, you might get concerned, wait, am I doing this right? Have I made mistakes that I cannot correct? Have I thought or done things that are keeping me from my good? And the answer is no. Your sinlessness is guaranteed by God. Why is that important this month? If you know that, repeat that, understand that, and accept that, you'll realize something powerful. Light, joy, and peace abide within you. No mistake, no belief in the darkness of the world can change that. And so we're affirming that this month. You can look out there and see all the unwanted, or you can close your eyes and affirm the truth that light, joy, and peace abide. They're at home in you. So let's do that, everyone. Let's go home. Let's let go of the external and go inward to where the truth is and allow it to be true for us now. So bring your feet to the floor and go ahead. Plant your palms on the tops of the thighs. Make sure you're seated upright in a chair, on your sofa, wherever you are, seated upright. And just notice the feet making contact with the floor or the car or wherever you are, the cafe floor, wherever you find yourself. And just pause to notice that. And as we notice our connection to the earth beneath us, we notice our connection to the light within us. Because light, joy, and peace abide in you. I cannot take it from you. You came with it. No one else can make you something that you're not. You came with it. Because your sinlessness is guaranteed, that means the light, joy, and peace are guaranteed. From this place of awareness, from this place of knowing and allowing, let your eyelids close. That simple act, that easy act, closing the eyelids, automatically takes the focus off of the external and begins the internal awareness, focus, and being. Light, joy, and peace are your being. And as we do that, let's focus on the breath now. Not to change it, just to notice it. And whether the breath appears to be deep or shallow, anywhere in between, it matters not. The breath is flowing. It is continual confirmation of your sinlessness. It's continual confirmation of the light, joy, and peace in you. And now let's take conscious control of the breath, sending our focus of attention and our breath deep into the low belly. We walk around many times holding our breath, breathing high in the chest all day long. Give yourself permission to let the breath drop nice and deep, signaling the nervous system it can relax. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4, hold for 4, exhale for 4, and then sink deeply for 4. Going to that light, that joy, and that peace. Let's begin. Inhale. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw. Sigh it out for 4. And sink, go towards that light, that joy, and that peace. In through the low belly again for 4. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw. Release the sound. Release anything you've been carrying, unlike light and joy and peace. What replaces what you've been carrying as you sink deeper and deeper and deeper into your sinlessness. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. We've expanded, dropping the breath deep, and now expand wide the sides. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, release the sound, sigh it out. Sound trails off, sink deeper and deeper into that light. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. We've expanded the sides. Now let's expand, send the breath into the back and the front. Hold. Relax the jaw. Release the shoulders. Sigh it out. You know where to go. Sink deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, now connecting to the heart. Low, mid, high breath, all one. Hold it at the heart chakra. Relax the jaw without collapsing the body. Just release the sound. From this anchored place, sink deeper and deeper into the light, the joy, the peace. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through into the heart, the most complete, connected breath you've ever felt. Hold it at the top. And relax the jaw, sigh it out. Give yourself permission. Sink deeper and deeper and deeper. We're going to slow it down now, a few rounds. Inhaling through the nostrils for 6, holding for 6, closing the lips and exhaling through the nostrils for 6, and giving yourself the experience of light, joy, and peace for 6. Let's begin. Inhale. Hold. Close the lips. Exhale through the nostrils for 6. Enjoying the inhale and now the exhale. Emptying, but in truth, remaining, abiding in light, joy, and peace. And sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. Take a few rounds of this inhale and exhale through the nostrils for 6. And as you do, maybe you notice, scan the body. Is there anywhere that feels tense? Anywhere that's you're not allowing the truth, that light, joy, and peace? Without judgment, send the breath there. Let it open up that space and create an awareness that light, joy, and peace abide in you. Are the temples tense? Relax them. Shoulders, relax. Hips and the hip sockets, go ahead and relax that. Sending the energy all the way down into the feet again. Feeling the connection, the power, the light, the joy, the peace. I will monitor the time. You take the inward journey. Continue with the breath and the awareness of the light, the joy, and the peace. If the mind wanders, it is okay. It's just doing what the mind is designed to do. When you become aware, you can bring it back without judgment to the breath, to our affirmative thought. Let that be your experience. Light, joy, and peace abide in me. Light, joy, and peace abide in you. Light, joy, and peace abide in us now. With our eyelids still closed, let's just enjoy the time we've given ourselves individually and collectively. With our eyelids still closed, let's anchor the truth that our sinlessness is guaranteed by God, and nothing out there or nothing that we think or may have done can change that. That sinlessness is eternal. And therefore, light, joy, and peace abide in you, now and forever. With our eyelids still closed, accept that as your reality and bring it back with you. The light, the joy, the peace. Let's go ahead and start some gentle waking of the body, returning with the body, the mind, and this truth anchored in us. Go ahead and wiggle the fingers and the toes. Maybe you plant the palms on the tops of the thighs and inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears, filling up with more breath, more sinlessness. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale up, nice and easy as you release the shoulder blades back and down. One more time. Inhale up. Exhale, nice and easy, releasing the shoulder blades gently back and down, sending the heart forward, remaining connected to the light, the joy, and the peace. Bring the palms together at heart's center. And if you are able, bow the chin nice and easy towards the fingertips. Allow the eyelids to gently open. Nice soft gaze. We don't have to rush or strain or push or prove, because the light, the joy, and the peace are in you. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze, release the breath, maintain the peace. Namaste.
Light, joy, and peace abide in us. Namaste, namaste, namaste. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. Thank you, Piwai.
You're welcome.
So grateful for the meditation experience. So grateful for this opportunity to go within, and a reminder of how good it feels to go within, and a reminder that we must make this a part of our daily practice. Well, we are, of course, in a fairly new month, and we launched a new series last week of Water and Spirit, Consciousness Awakened, Consciousness Revealed. And last week was pretty powerful. We're going to keep going this week. But of course, before we get into the message, we're going to get into the music. So we're going to hear from an old classic, which like, what is it, right? But anyway, it's a good song. So we're going to hear from Soul 21. And then after that, I will be with you with today's message, The Empire Strikes Back. I'll see you in a minute. the peace, the money, the house, the car, whatever it is, it's in you. This world outside of us is the world we create. It's the world we manipulate. And whatever we see is what's in us. So if you're seeing lack in the world, heal the lack thoughts within yourself. And then you will see abundance. If you're seeing loneliness outside of yourself, heal that sense of loneliness and remember that you're never alone. For the love that you own, peace you own, the money that you car you own, the love you own, peace you own. Ah, yes, yes. The love you want, the peace you want, the money, the house, the car that you want, everything that you've been looking for, baby, it's in you. In you. I think that's a wonderful song as we have talked about moving from body consciousness and moving into mind consciousness. That's really what it's all about, right? That you stop looking to the external world to try to give you things to validate, right? There's one of in the second verse, you've been looking for a love to validate that you're beautiful and no one can take your place, right? All these external things. If someone calls me beautiful, if someone affirms me, then I will believe it. But it's all actually within us. And that's that journey of consciousness that we take. Thank you, Soul 21. Thank you, CSC Band. Awesome, awesome, awesome song. And I am excited about our sermon for today. So hello, welcome, happy Sunday, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever time it is, where you are. It is good and getting better and better and better all the time. So I would love if you could repeat after me as we begin with our centering prayer, and then we will move forward into today's message. I welcome the Spirit of truth into my mind and let it grow in my heart. Thank you, God, in, through, and as me. Amen. Ashe. And so it is. Yes, yes. Well, we began this series last week with the sermon, Take Up Your Cross. And there, in Take Up Your Cross, I introduced you to the cross of consciousness, right? This is something that we'll keep coming back to, recognizing that the symbol of the cross is really that symbol of the soul's journey, the journey that we take that is embodied in the sun and solar mythology, and of course in the Jesus story and so many other stories, moving from body to mind to heart to truth. And I updated this graphic to put that circular, that cycle to indicate that we're always moving through the cycle of body to mind to heart to truth, the body to mind to heart to truth, in the same way that the sun continues to move, continues to fall and rise and fall and rise and fall and rise. It happens on a daily basis, and it also happens on that annual basis of moving through the seasons. So this is the truth of our experience. And so there I talked about body consciousness and what body consciousness is really all about. And then, of course, how we start to move out of that state of being, using and looking at the story of the prodigal son, right? When the prodigal son came to himself there when he was with the pigs, when he came to himself and realized that even my father's servants have more than enough. And he decided, he said, I'm going to go, I'm going to ask for forgiveness. I'm willing to just be a servant myself, because it's a better experience than this one that I'm in. That coming to yourself, that moment is that moment that all of us have experienced and will experience, that moves us out of body consciousness. And I talked about all of the different ways that that can happen for us in our modern lives, in our individual lives. And of course, now we move to the next state. Now on Monday was May the 4th. And May the 4th is a big and important day for those of us that are huge Star Wars fans like myself. Many people even call May Star Wars Month. May the 4th, of course, May the 4th be with you. And it was a perfect timing to align with this particular sermon and this sermon series, because also 50 years ago, it is when the filming began of the very first Star Wars film. And I love to think that as I was born 50 years ago, that there was something within me that said, I need to be on the planet when this movie is released. I need to be on the planet as this, the consciousness shift that comes as a result of this happens. And so we're going to use and look at some things from Star Wars to really support us in understanding body to mind consciousness, understanding mind consciousness, and moving forward. Now, last week I said that I would answer a few questions. What practices are needed and most beneficial in the mind state of consciousness? What are the pitfalls when we're in the mind state of consciousness? And how will you know when it's time to move on up a little higher in mind from the mind state of consciousness to the heart state of consciousness? And I will answer these questions and more. And so as I thought about these questions, I began to think about where Star Wars ends. So Star Wars Episode 4, Star Wars A New Hope is the name of the movie, right? Takes us then into the sequel, The Empire Strikes Back. And where Star Wars ends and what happens in The Empire Strikes Back has everything to do with this journey of body to mind, and then learning and understanding in this mind consciousness so that we can move forward. Now, I don't want to assume everyone knows the story, so I want to give you just a really, really, really quick synopsis to understand what happened in the first movie. So first of all, again, it's called Star Wars A New Hope. And that's that same indication of moving from body to mind. Something happened. There was a belief, right? Something was born in us that believed that we could have a different experience. We heard something, for many of you, many people, you watched The Secret, and that opened up something in you to believe that there was other things that are possible for you, to believe and know that you could manifest and demonstrate, right? You may have watched, even shout out to those who know the movie, What the Bleep Do We Know, right? Which was I remember for me, that was like one of those movies that kind of really turned on a lot of things. It's what planted the seed for transcendental meditation for me. And so A New Hope, that the title is very appropriate for that reason, because it's all about moving out of body consciousness. And so in that movie, we meet a young man named Luke Skywalker. And he, like all young people, has big dreams. And of course, not just big dreams. You feel like anything that you want to be, do, or have, it can't happen where you are. So his tiny village, his tiny home, his tiny planet, he couldn't wait to just get off of that rock, as he would say. And so most of his friends had already moved on. And so he had stayed behind to help his uncle with the farm. This reminds me of It's a Wonderful Life. Right, because it's the same idea, right? Where we have the character that had stayed behind, let his brother go off to school. He stayed behind to work in the family business, Bailey Building and Loan. But he couldn't wait to kick the dust off of his shoes of this crummy old town, right? And so this is the same motif that we find in the character of Luke Skywalker. And so a series of events lead him to a man he knew as old Ben Kenobi. But what he learns is that old Ben is actually Obi-Wan Kenobi, a Jedi Master. And Obi-Wan tells him that his father, Anakin Skywalker, was also a Jedi Master. So something that he did not know. This was incredibly surprising to him, right? It was starting to rearrange his perspective on himself and his life and the world. And so that information forever changed Luke Skywalker's world because everything he had been told about his father had been a lie. And so after his aunt and uncle are tragically killed, he now has no reason to stay on his home planet. And thus begins the adventure into the unknown, a new life, and learning the ways of the Force. Now, the climax of the movie, and the best part, if you will, right, is when Luke finally demonstrates what he has learned from his teacher, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan is teaching him about the Force and explaining the Force to him and teaching him how to use a lightsaber and teaching him how to let go and use his feelings and feel the Force. And although Obi-Wan at this point has been killed and is no longer in the physical, he is fully present with Luke. And Luke hears the voice of Obi-Wan within his own consciousness, saying, "Use the Force, Luke. Let go. Luke, trust me." And this is beautiful, again, thinking about this move from body consciousness to mind consciousness, because as I talked about, what is body consciousness is all about an externalized God. Power is outside of you. Again, in the idea of the song, right? You're looking everywhere and everything outside of you for power. And so this was an expression and symbolizes this reality that now Luke is aware of a presence and power within him. And he can hear the voice of mastery. He can hear the voice of truth within him. And so in that moment, Luke chooses to trust. And what he does as he is flying his X-Wing fighter, all of the fighters have an electronic guidance system that's supposed to help them hit the target. But instead, as he has been hearing within his own self the voice of his master saying, "Use the Force," he turns off that electronic guidance system and uses his internal guidance system. And of course, it's a direct hit, right? This again is symbolic of moving from body consciousness to mind consciousness. This is symbolic of recognizing the true power within. So Luke is successful and the Death Star is destroyed. End of story, happy ending. Now, one could look at that story, as I just shared, again, a really quick synopsis, and the full arc of the movie and think that Luke had moved from body consciousness all the way to mind consciousness, to heart, and to truth consciousness, because it would seem that he exercised mastery, right? It would seem that if he used the Force, the whole point was him to learn how to use the Force and trust it. And we see that he did. Isn't that the whole point, PG? Well, remember, I shared the symbolism of the story of the prodigal son. And I shared, as I said earlier, he came to himself. And him coming to himself, that awareness is the moment that he began to move from state one to state two, from mind to body on the cross of consciousness. And there's something very interesting and deceiving about entering mind consciousness, especially in the beginning. In the story of the prodigal son, it says that when he was afar off, not yet at his father's house, his father rushed to him, embraced him, kissed him, and served and said that he told his servants to put rings on his son's fingers, to put on a fine robe upon him, and to prepare a large feast. Now, here's the beautiful and misunderstood thing about moving into this state of consciousness. As soon as one turns in the direction of the Father's house, the kingdom of heaven, the realm of everlasting good, you will attract good. You notice, as I said, he wasn't even at his father's house yet. But as soon as he had turned in the direction and was afar off, he began to receive good. This good will seem inexplicable. This good may seem unearned. This good will seem miraculous. This good will seem magical, but it will be none of these things. It is the normal and natural response to leaving body consciousness, externalize God against me, to moving to God within, God and me, moving from body to mind consciousness. It is not a signal that you've arrived. It's not a signal that you are a master manifester. It is not a signal that you've mastered the law of attraction. It's simply the way that it goes. And I want to put this chart back up, and I added a couple of things, updated this a little bit to support you in seeing this. I'll share the updated version in the CSC Live group. Right, but it's important to understand this. State 1, body consciousness, right? So victim, God against me. This is the mind state is unconscious. This is the beta brainwave state, right? This is to me. Things are happening to me, right? This is called the mortal state of consciousness in the Unity teachings from Charles Fillmore. And in the Maharishi Vedic science, this is deep sleep or dreaming, right? Unaware, right? You're asleep, you're asleep, you're asleep. And so when we move into state 2, Victor consciousness, now your God consciousness is God and me. You are now conscious. You are aware. You are aware of things, aware that things can be differently. You're also using your conscious awareness to shift and change your life. This is the alpha brainwave state of being, which is an incredibly beneficial state of being. I love the quote Jose Silva, as he talks about this is where you should be solving your problems. This is where you should be doing your work. Right? He says it's completely unintelligent to do otherwise. And so this is the to-it state of being, as Michael Beckwith would teach it, right? Calling it the manipulator stage. And the Unity Fillmore teachings, metaphysician stage. And then, of course, Vedic science, waking and transcendental consciousness, right? Alpha brainwave state. And so you're now starting to have this awareness of this connection with and with the all that is, God and me. That's what Luke experienced, right? As he made that shift, right? There was a voice within him, God and me, right? In this case, the voice of his master. And of course, he was able to do something miraculous, something that others were unable to do. But again, this is a state, and we're going to be moving, right? So it is a mistake to think, and unfortunately, what tends to happen is folks take this state because you're receiving things, because good stuff is happening, because good stuff is showing up, that I've arrived. But what I'm here to tell you, and I love how it's indicated in the story of the prodigal son, that's a natural and normal and inevitable outcome and result of turning in the direction of your father's house. Now, the next part of that story is the key indicator. Because remember, in every story, every character represents an aspect or an archetype within us. And so the father and the father's house is within us, right? The prodigal son is all of us. And then there's the older brother who is pissed off. And I get tickled when I read and reread the story, because as it's told, it says the older brother, he heard some music and dancing. And you already know he heard that music and dancing, and he was like, what the hell is going on? I know what I think is happening ain't happening. But because he wanted to be sure and not immediately go off, according to the story, it says he asked one of the servants, hey, what's going on? There's a party. Nobody invited me. I don't know what's going on. Where's all this celebration coming from? And that's when the servants explained to him that his brother, his younger brother, the one who was selfish and greedy, the one who demanded his inheritance and squandered it all, according to the text on riotous living, that brother has come home, and Pops is throwing a big party to celebrate. He is pissed, and of course he unloads on his father. I'm the good son. I've always been the good son. You've never done anything like this for me. You had the servants, kill and prepare the fatted calf. You haven't even, given me some small little animal so me and my friends can just have a little something. Right? He was pissed. But again, the characters represent something within us. This brother is your ego talking. This brother is your inner critic talking. This brother is your fraud complex talking. This brother is your past talking. This brother is your fear talking. This brother is your doubt talking, your shame talking, your self-judgment talking. Because see, what begins to happen The good gets in, you're attracting all of this good, and then things start to settle, right? Things start to normalize. And then all of a sudden, you become aware of those thoughts. You become aware of that critical voice. Then all of a sudden, if things aren't flowing the way and as quickly as they were, because again, all the new stuff, it was miraculous. Boom, it was felt magical. It's like, oh, I can't lose, right? And then it's not happening in the same way. It's not happening as fast as it was. That's when the brother's voice shows up, criticizing. That's when the voice of the ego shows up. When one moves into mind consciousness, that voice becomes clearer. And it is in mind consciousness that you learn how to deal with that voice and all the ways that it will show up. It is in mind consciousness where you're then able to start to heal that voice. Now in Star Wars, it works a little differently. So where we left off, we end the story. All is well. Everything is good, right? Luke has used the Force. He destroyed the Death Star, which was the big point. That was the thing. The Death Star, it's a machine, if you will, that can destroy planets, right? It needed to be destroyed. And at the end, he also received a special medal from Princess Leia. Like, he was living the life. But in The Empire Strikes Back, the voice of the ego is revealed. That's what the Empire is, right? It's going to show up, right? You may have thought that you fully defeated the voice of the ego. You may have thought that because you moved out of body consciousness and, oh, well, I don't believe in God against me anymore, right? I'm living in God and me, right? So that can't show up anymore. I'm not going to have any thoughts of externalizing God again. I'm not going to have any thoughts of God judging me when things all of a sudden start going wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. I experienced that. You know, I thought I was locked in. I thought I knew these teachings. But when things started to settle down and not happen in the way I wanted to, or when I had a disappointment or a setback, it was like, oh no, maybe I disappointed God. Oh no. What if I shouldn't have been playing around with these teachings? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe God is punishing me. And so again, this shows up a little differently in Star Wars. And it's important to see this because I know that you hear it and get it as I talk about the voice of the brother and the story of the prodigal son being that voice of the ego. But I want you to see other ways that it shows up. Now, Luke Skywalker hadn't completed his training because, as I said earlier, Obi-Wan Kenobi was killed. He was killed by Darth Vader. And so Luke Skywalker knew that he needed to find and seek out Master Yoda. He wasn't even sure if Yoda was still alive, but he was told about this great Jedi Master, one of the greatest. And, you know, this is where he should go if he was going to complete his training. So in his time with Master Yoda, he begins to learn what is required to fully master mind consciousness and then to move to heart and truth consciousness. Even after all that he had learned and experienced with Obi-Wan and destroying the Death Star, he was still relying on what his eyes told him, externally focused. Because you see, Yoda didn't look like what he expected and what he had in his mind that an old, wise Jedi should look like. I think he probably expected a giant. He probably expected some big, strong, muscular person. And so when he arrives in the Dagobah system where Yoda lives, he meets this little green creature crawling around and was asking him if he knew about someone named Yoda on this planet. Of course, knowing that this little green creature couldn't be Yoda, but maybe he could be helpful. And so, of course, he was surprised ultimately to learn that this little green creature who he actually found annoying was the being that he was there to learn from, to teach, and to learn from, that was there to teach him. And so we meet Luke in that space. He's externally focused, right? He's relying on what his eyes are showing him to tell him what's true and what's not true. And then he demonstrates his consciousness clearly in the scene where his X-Wing fighter jet has sunk into the swamp. And he's so full of doubt that as he watches his fighter jet sink into the ship, he begins to lament, "Oh, we'll never get it out now." And Yoda replies, "Always with you full of doubt." The Luke replies, "Oh, Master Yoda, moving stones is one thing, but this is totally different," because in his training, he had been learning to use his mind, and he was juggling stones, using the Force without touching it with his hands. Again, demonstrating wonderful things. But he's telling Master Yoda, who sits in a completely different state of knowingness, moving stones is one thing, but this is different. Yoda tells him, it is only different in your mind. You must unlearn what you have learned. And when I hear that, of course, I think about what PY and I say and share with you all so often, right? That this path is a path of unlearning. And that's what you're doing as you're in and moving to and through the mind state of consciousness. There will be lots of releasing and letting go. And so the awareness of the doubts, the awareness of the fears, the awareness of the shame, the awareness of the inner critic is showing up because there's enough love to heal it. It's showing up so it can be released. It's showing up because it no longer belongs in and with you in this new reality that you've stepped into. And so it's trying to flee. There's also the realization, as A Course in Miracles puts it, that there is no order of difficulty in miracles. Or as Abraham Hicks says, it's as easy to manifest a castle as it is a button. But Luke Skywalker doesn't realize that yet. Right? He thinks that moving stones, well, yeah, that's easy. Like, yeah, you can do that. That's plausible. But moving a big ship is not possible. So in his mind, there is an order of difficulty to miracles. In his mind, it is not as easy to manifest a castle as a button. And so then Luke says, all right, I'll give it a try. To which Yoda famously replies, no, try not. Do or do not. There is no try. This is, of course, is what trips so many people up. Instead of applying the teachings, you're trying the teachings. Instead of applying the principle, you're trying the principle. And here in mind consciousness, you're getting to learn and know the difference. The difference between knowing the path and walking the path, as Morpheus would say. Now, of course, Luke does try. And the ship moves just a little bit. But then it sinks all the way down into the swamp. Luke is exasperated and he says, I can't, it's too big. At this point, we get Yoda's famous sermon. I've quoted this sermon in my sermons and used it as a point to make other points many, many times. Size matters not. Judge me by my size, do you? And well, you should not. For my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. Life creates it, makes it grow. Its energy surrounds us and binds us. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. You must feel the Force around you, here, between you, me, the tree, the rock, everywhere, yes, even between the land and ship. Now, Master Yoda is teaching heart and truth consciousness in that statement. It is not I, but the Father within that does the work. That's the mantra of heart consciousness. And that is exactly what Yoda is echoing in the same sentiment when he says, for my ally is the Force, and a powerful ally it is. He recognizes that there is something operating in, through, and as him. He recognizes that I'm a small little green creature. But I'm powerful because I understand the power that operates in, through, and as me, not because I think that it is me that is the power. And then he goes on further to remind Luke from the vantage point of truth consciousness that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. Luminous beings are we, not this crude matter. As long as you think you are only your soul clothing, You limit the possibilities of what is possible to express in, through, and as you. And then he affirms that oneness. The energy surrounds us and binds us. You must feel the force around you here between you and me. The tree, the rock, everywhere. Yes, even between land and ship. That's oneness. That's unity consciousness. Luke's reply to Yoda's sermon is, you want the impossible. Now remember, reality, I keep quoting Maharishi Mahesh Yogi, reality is different in different states of consciousness. In his state of consciousness, just as with you, just as with me, in different points and times in our lives, Luke couldn't see what Yoda sees right now. Luke can't know what Yoda knows right now, and that's okay. As his teacher, Yoda is standing firm in his state of consciousness and calling Luke towards this understanding. So what does Yoda do? He doesn't argue. He doesn't reply. He doesn't try to convince Luke of anything because he understands reality is different at different states of consciousness. All Yoda does is close his eyes, reach out his hand, and draws that ship up out of the swamp and easily and effortlessly and calmly places it upon dry land. Luke, of course, is astonished, and his reply is, I don't believe it. To which Yoda replies, that is why you fail. This moment is incredibly helpful in understanding mind consciousness. Because all of the ways that Luke is showing up in this scene is akin to many of the ways that you may have found yourself showing up to and judged yourself. See, some of you thought you should have arrived. Some of you thought that you shouldn't have any doubts if you've moved out of body consciousness into mind consciousness and you're a metaphysician and you're using the force and you're doing wonderful things. Some of you thought that because you still complain after destroying the Death Stars in your life, that something was wrong with you. Some of you thought that because your inner critic is still active, sounding like the prodigal son's brother, that you haven't learned anything yet. Some of you gave up the first time your ego reminded you of your past and how ratchet you used to be. Some of you said you were done with these teachings when you found yourself facing old thoughts, old patterns, old temptations, old lovers that you should have or thought you should have grown beyond. Some of you were ready to give up when you found out that moving from mind consciousness is not some magical shield or force field that protects you from the inevitable experiences of being human. Well, I'm here to tell you that all of this is normal, natural, and necessary. Yes, you will be adorned with rings and fine robes like the prodigal son. Yes, you will use the force like Luke and destroy Death Stars. Yes, you will use the power of your mind to do things that you never would have thought you could have possibly done in the past. Both things are true in this state of consciousness, and it's all good. And I want you to stop right now and take a breath. I really want you to take that in because I know that so many of you have judged and been judging yourselves. I know that so many of you have put down these teachings or abandoned the teachings or stopped watching the live stream. Because you didn't understand what's going on in this state of consciousness. Just like Luke, you can use the force to move stones and yet still have unbelief and doubt when it comes to moving a ship out of the swamp. And your speech, your talk is just complaining and doubt and fear. But of course, this is why we have teachers. This is why we have the support of those that support us in moving forward. So I want you to celebrate the awareness of this moment because I believe that somebody just got free. If you need to run around the house, run around the house in that feeling of freedom. If you need to run all around the house outside, go do that. I'll be here when you get back. And so understanding then what's happening in this state of consciousness, mind consciousness, one of the things that's very necessary is for you to lean into lessons 1 through 3 of the Science of Spirit. Hope y'all didn't think we just taught that series to just abandon it and leave it into the first quarter of the year. This is the perfect time to come back to that, particularly if this sermon is resonating with you. In January, the first three lessons, the first 3 sermons in the Tell the Truth, the Science of Spirit, and how to use it. This is when you lean into the statement of good. It is in this state where affirmations and denials are powerful and necessary, right? Because you have all of these ways of being, these thoughts, these complaints, the shame, the critic. You need to be able to use denials first, clear the space, then fill the space with affirmations. So you have the statement of good, you have the universal denials, you have the universal affirmations. All of those wonderful documents are available in the CSC Live group, but you can just go to the sermons and watch them and get that information. Right? There are other affirmations that I share in the sermon. This is necessary at this place because what denials and affirmations are doing, it's a clearing and cleansing. Remember, I said, and the title of this series is Of Water and Spirit, right? This is a baptism, right? And so, so many people are out here getting dipped in the water, but their consciousness never changes. Right? There's nothing inherently wrong with choosing to do that outer symbol of water baptism, but it is incredibly ineffective if you do not realize that what it is an outer symbol to sort of be the catalyst of the inner transformation that must happen. And inner transformation is not about believing in God and getting saved. The inner transformation is about the change in your consciousness, because people are out here getting baptized and still mentally living, thinking, and acting from body consciousness. They're still living, thinking, and acting from a place of God against me, living, thinking, and acting from a place of God as my savior, living, thinking, and acting from a place of God as their hero. They are in the victim consciousness, unconscious. They are asleep and dreaming, even though they were dipped in the water. Water can't change your mind. Remember the neuroscience. We talked about this last week. Behind the shift in consciousness, when you change your mind, you change your brain. And by changing your brain, you evolve. Water can't change your brain. So we must have an inner experience. We get involved so that we can evolve. And so that involution, that water baptism is an internal baptism. That is the shift. That is the change. And so in mind consciousness, then what happens? You're shifting your state of awareness from victim to victor, from out of control to in control, from unworthy to worthy, from powerless to powerful, from no responsibility to responsible, from unlovable to lovable, from unloving to loving. And hear this, when I say unloving, it's you think you're unloving. When I say unlovable, you think you're unlovable. And so, of course, if that's what you believe to be true, that's what you experience. Moving into the state of consciousness of mind, you now know that you are lovable. You know that you are loving. And so with this shift, there will be a newness to life. This, again, why the symbol of being baptized, water baptism, is being born again. And so there's a newness, new ideas, new people, new relationships, new thoughts, new environments, new jobs, and on and on and on. And all of this happens so that then, as the voice of the older brother shows up, it can be healed. Because you're learning and recognizing, oh, I can handle these thoughts. I can be aware of these thoughts and do something with them. I talked about it last week, that space, as we've seen in students who practice transcendental meditation, alpha level, right? That's the brainwave state that we're talking about in this state of consciousness. Now you can choose. to fight or not fight. Right? That's the difference. But you could never address the voice of the ego, the voice of the older brother, the doubt, fear, and complaints that we hear in Luke Skywalker. You couldn't even begin to address those, let alone be aware of them in the previous state of consciousness. But now you can. This, of course, is what A Course in Miracles supports us in doing, right? You move through the text and the workbook lessons. It's taking you on this very same journey. The doubts and the I can'ts and the it's impossibles embodied in Luke Skywalker at this moment in his journey must be voiced and recognized as a call for love so that they can be forgiven and transformed. I say it again, this is a natural, normal, and necessary part of the journey. Because you can't take this stuff with you to heart consciousness. And recognizing that it's natural, normal, and necessary, yes, even after you've demonstrated, even after you've manifested, even after you've performed miracles. And so in this mind consciousness, there are other tools and practices that are helpful, right? So again, I talked about go to the science of spirit, go to the statement of good, affirmations and denials, make use of those, lean into them. But also guided imagery and visualization, right? Learning how to take a mental vacation in your own mind, right? Because that can support you before you cuss your boss out. You have the wherewithal, right, to stop. Go to your place of peace and tranquility within yourself, like literally a place that you visualize. Take yourself there. The science, the neuroscience is clear. All of the ways that as that relaxes the body, it relaxes the mind. And what does it do? I talked about the anterior cingulate, which I was telling PY, I forgot to mention this last Sunday. One of the ways that that's talked about is that's your inner negotiator. And so you're strengthening your inner negotiator, which then is allowing you to choose differently, right? Choose again, choose that which is beneficial, choose that which is harmonious, right? So guided imagery and visualization, success maps, treasure maps, or as most people know, vision boards, right? Is helpful in this place. Of course, workshops, classes, courses, right? This is why we have so many workshops, classes, and courses here in New Thought. Reading and listening to transformational books and sermons. Of course, spiritual coaching and spiritual counseling. These are all things that help you. This is why Luke has Master Yoda there, right? Eventually, Luke becomes the master. And actually, what I love in The Force Awakens, in the newer movies, he's exasperated just as Yoda was once exasperated with him, right? And so he's the master, but he's also standing firm, remembering and knowing what is true, and even also leaning still in the presence of his masters, Yoda and Obi-Wan, as he needs to. So in closing, initially the working title of this sermon was Consciousness Reloaded. And the reason it was Consciousness Reloaded is that it was in honor of another film, another sequel. Just as we find Luke Skywalker moving from body consciousness to mind consciousness, Neo in The Matrix walks the same path. And of course, the sequel in that wonderful series is titled The Matrix Reloaded. That title is very appropriate and explains a lot of what's going on. Because as you move up the cross of consciousness, everything reloads or resets. The empire, aka the ego, strikes back. If you try to approach things as they were, you will not succeed. You will learn very quickly that something more is being drawn out of you. Yes, you have been born again. Yes, you are no longer that young kid desperate to leave his tiny home and live a life of adventure. Yes, you are no longer, as in The Matrix, Thomas Anderson. You have been reborn as Neo, the One. The world around you resets accordingly, not as a punishment, but to keep you moving forward. Remember, reality is different at different states of consciousness. So then you cannot approach reality in the same way that you once did. Mind consciousness is not a destination. Something will pull you forward. Something will call you forward. In The Empire Strikes Back, Luke Skywalker learns that he must tame fear and anger. as Yoda teaches him that anger is what leads to the dark side. And he also learns something about his identity that is earth-shattering. In The Matrix Reloaded, Neo meets the architect. This seemingly was what the journey was all about. And he receives his own earth-shattering news about his identity. And at the end of the movie, he is in a coma, and the fate of the world hangs in the balance. Here is where we move from mind to heart. Here is where we move from metaphysician to mystic. Here is where we move from God and me to God in me. At the foundation, you are being invited to release your sense of control. You are invited to move from mind to the mind of the heart. And so that release of control is not a release to something outside of you, but something greater in you. In the Unity teachings, it's out of print now. It's a course that was taught many, many years ago called Holy Spirit Regeneration. And it's all about this same path, right, of moving through these states of consciousness. And there's something helpful here in this text that I want to share, because it talks about what are some of the symptoms, and that's a word that's used in the text in this course, of moving, that something is pulling you forward, calling you forward, moving from mind to heart. Divine discontent. This can be described as a feeling or sense of uncertainty, confusion, and inner questioning. The metaphysician begins to entertain such questions as, how do I distinguish my will from God's will? Why do affirmations and denials now not seem to be working anymore? I thought I had healed that. Why has this situation come up again? When do I take control versus letting God be in charge? The desires of the heart begin to shift as well. There is a yearning for greater wisdom and understanding. The desire to know the I am within becomes paramount. There is a desire to serve spirit versus spirit serving you. You begin to tire of doing and yearn for being. The idea of grace begins to appeal to you. The desire to be loved and accepted by others shifts to a more intense desire to become the love you have so long desired to receive. Now, while everyone may have these thoughts or feelings from time to time on this spiritual path, the difference here is in the frequency and almost chronic nature of these thoughts and feelings. You are being called then to live and surrender. It is here where you are now being called to live in yes. It is here where then you are being called to live in true humility. You are being called to live and to trust in a way that you have never experienced or lived before. The upward journey from mind to heart is another rebirth. Moving on up a little higher from mind to heart is the second baptism. It's baptism of fire. It is the symbol of the second coming of the Christ within you. So I encourage you to take time to revisit lessons 1 through 3 in the Science of Spirit. Again, that's January of this year, the first 3 sermons. Be gentle with yourself as you become aware of your doubts, fears, shame, and inner critic. They are a call for love. Unlearn what you have learned. Do not try. Do. Forgive yourself and set yourself free. There's more to come. But for now, for the truth that has been shared, the truth that has been spoken, the truth that has been received in mind and heart, I say amen, ashe, and so it is.
Wow, 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 wow. What a masterful message. The ability to weave together all of these ideas and make them make sense, to bring clarity and self compassion and encouragement on your journey, to make you realize I needed this message for relief because I'm experiencing some things in my life that make me doubt where I am, that make the elder brother in me come forward. It's interesting that the ego is the elder brother.
Yeah, right.
Because that means it's the oldest part of the mind, right?
System. Yep.
Okay, we'll probably talk about this off camera, but that came to me as we were,
Powerful.
as he was, I was like, oh, the elder brother, the one that's been there the longest doubting, the one that makes us question is what I'm being told to do the right thing, the one that makes us doubt our sinlessness, that all of that is the elder. But the elder don't mean the final word. It just means the beginning experience. I love it. I love it. I love it. Relief, y'all. I can feel it out there that where you are on your journey is not a mistake. You are not a mistake. That these teachings are here to support you. Please come back to this message because it's going to give you something else. Freedom. Freedom to look at whatever and to rise, as PG says, on up a little higher.
Yes.
Come back to this message this week multiple times.
Yes.
Thank you, PG.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And I trust, we'll talk a little bit more, but I trust you can see now that as we move through the 12 lessons of the science of spirit, you can see how they align with the states of consciousness. And that's why I share with you, like, some of those later lessons that felt hard to, that sounds good, but oh Lord, I don't know if I can deny all this stuff that I'm seeing, right? Reality is different in different states of consciousness, right? And so it's really beautiful. Really
Yes,
beautiful.
have some compassion, everybody. Not some, all the compassion you need on this journey.
Real talk.
Give it to yourself.
Real talk. Here and now, it is time for giving. We've reached the wonderful moment where we get to tap into the spiritual practice of giving, because giving is a spiritual practice. As you give, you receive. You are reminding yourself that there is an infinite supply behind every resource, behind every expression of supply in our lives. And of course, we are supporting where we are spiritually fed. Now, it's very easy to give to CSC. You can go to our website, celebration.sc.org/give. You can text your dollar amount to 347-744-9500, and you can give in the Church Center app. Additionally, if you want to mail in a check, mail that in to the mailing address you see there on your screen. You can also get that address on our website. No matter which method you choose to give, it is important that you give what feels good. What does that mean? It means that that voice of shame and fear and telling you what you should have done or what you didn't do and robbing Peter to pay Paul or feeling bad that it's not more, all of those kinds of things. We forgive ourselves. We set ourselves free. We liberate ourselves from that type of thinking. And we give from a place of joy. So whatever that joy number is, search within yourself, right? That number that just feels good, right? And feels easy, right? And you're not worried about it because it's out of that space, that way of thinking, that way of being. That's how you experience not just the joy of giving, but that's then how you experience the reaping, right? That's where the prosperity in giving is all about. As you give, you receive. As you sow, you reap. That's a universal principle, right? It's just true. And unfortunately, because folks are externally focused, body consciousness, they think that as I sow $100, I will get $1,000, right? It's not about the amount of money. It's about the thought that's behind it, right? So that thought must be a good feeling thought. That thought must be a joy thought. And then you can affirm with confidence and with joy As we affirm every week, all the money that I circulate
All the money that I circulate
returns to me multiplied
returns to me multiplied
in a never-ending cycle
in a never-ending cycle
of increase
of increase
and enjoyment.
and enjoyment.
To that we say amen,
Amen.
ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
So it is. And that increase in enjoyment, that is financial increase and financial enjoyment. But because the qualifier isn't there, it's increase in enjoyment in every area of your life.
Absolutely.
That's complete prosperity. Right? That's complete prosperity. Well, we love and appreciate y'all. We're so happy to be able to share another weekend service together, another live stream together. Look forward to us gathering together on Wednesday for the Momentum Prayer Call, and then we'll come back together next Sunday, third Sunday, God Talk Sunday. You definitely want to be there. Again, happy Mother's Day to all of the mothers and mother figures. Enjoy your day. We trust that it's peaceful, relaxing, restful, or whatever it is that you want to do on your day. I hope that you get to do it and are being loved. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. And we'll continue to be your Yodas, right? We'll continue to be that loving voice. We'll continue to be that space, calling you to move on up a little higher. No judgment, just love. All right. Bye for now.
Bye for now.